Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. The markets have bounced and we're seeing green across the board. Does this mean that the short-term trend is bullish and we're going to finally start breaking out? Or are we going to continue to close below the 50-day moving average and see lower lows? For today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys an update inside of the Ethereum chart as well as Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about what the F2.0 merger has in store for this coming cycle. Are we going to see Ethereum outperform Bitcoin? And what do the charts actually show us as we get closer towards the end of this cycle bottom? If you're new and just find this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. Hit that notification so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys go ahead and download my free ebook. If you're a new guy, you want extra educational content to study off of, to learn more about how to be profitable inside these markets, I've made a free beginner's guide to crypto. It's an ebook you guys can go ahead and download. Not going to cost you anything, but I know it's going to make the world of difference in your trading plans. Thank you guys so much for the support. And with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. So in my last video, what we talked about was the stock market, we covered Bitcoin, we covered Ethereum, and we talked about the 50-day moving average and why it is so important that the crypto markets stay above that if we're going to continue to see more upside. Now, as you guys can see, in the short term at least, we have had a little bit of a buyback in here, but nonetheless, it's nothing really to be really excited about. The trend is still down. Even if we see some short-term bounces in here, I don't think that we should get too excited, especially with this only being sitting here at, early fall, right at the beginning of that fall time frames. Well, depending on where you guys are in the world. I'm in America, so right now it's actually fall, but we're looking at September time frames, right? So September time frames, we're getting closer towards that end of the year threshold. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of the markets, whether we make a lower low or whether we just end up consolidating here on this range and just kind of doing stuff like this throughout the rest of the year. I really don't think it matters a whole lot, and we should simply just be prepared for either scenario. If we get a lower low, I think that everybody should do their part to really just buy that dip, because I don't find it likely that that dip lasts long. If we do get one more lower low, like I stated in my last video, I would expect that the prices would fall to probably about 16.2 all the way down to about 12,500. Anywhere in those ranges we could potentially see a bottom for Bitcoin. But the big thing to understand here is if we're comparing this cycle to the prior cycles, bear markets historically have lasted about a year in duration. If we look at 2018, in that bear market, even though the price structure is different, we can see that from the top of the cycle to the bottom of the cycle was almost exactly 365 days. So if we're looking at the same threshold once again for this cycle, we're pretty close to that same time frame. We're currently sitting at about 300 days. So 365 days is going to be taking us to the first week of November. And so even though we could see a lower low, even if we bounce up in here and to see something like this, I expect that that lower low isn't going to be a very big one. Like I stated, it'll come back down to anywhere from 16.2 to about 14K. And that would be the last dip that we would look to buy. It could happen a little bit faster than that. I think the chop would really come inside of this range here. And if we clear this range, whether that's bullish and we get a break above and go higher, or whether that's bearish and we get a break below and go lower, I believe that the move that will happen on that downside or upside target is going to be quick. The chop is going to come inside of this move here. As we're kind of consolidating, we might even come back up to retest the range low or the range highs. It doesn't necessarily matter that much. I'm expecting a lot of choppy price action throughout this period of time. If we get a break one way or another, I expect that it would be pretty sudden. So if we do manage to get a break to the upside, I do believe that once we can get above this resistance here at about 25,000, it would set us up for a quick move to at least 32, but we could even run all the way up to about $40,000. That would be the bullish case. Now the bearish case would obviously be, we'd probably come back down here. We might bounce in the short term, but we would actually clear below this support at about 19,000, and then that would set us up for a quick sudden drop back down to, like I stated, 16.2 to about 12,500, somewhere in there. But the time being, The move before that would be a lot of choppy price action. Even if we end up going back up to 22,500, I still think that the price action for the rest of this year is going to be pretty choppy. Whether we go for a low or whether we end up breaking out, the move in between is going to be choppy price action, the type of price action that there's really no reason to get caught up in. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're buying your cryptos, you should be either dollar cost averaging or you just simply buy when you get your paycheck. And if that's the case, you shouldn't be worrying so much about the short-term price action. And I think that that's the big thing that people get too caught up in. They might have been investing in a crypto throughout these highs over here. So once the bear market flipped and the sell-off starts to come, you know, they're taking all of these heavy losses from the bags they accumulated up here to where the last thing in the world that they want to do, psychologically, their brain's telling them, hey, do not buy anything right now. Especially if we see a lower low, I can almost guarantee nobody's going to be looking to buy besides the people with actual money, the institutions, the people that don't care. Those are going to be the ones that actually have the patience, have the understanding of accumulating when the time's good. I don't think you can go wrong buying at these prices. Whether we go for a low, I don't think it matters because historically bear markets are about 80 to 84% of a correction. From the high to the low that we've made so far is 74%. So the downside target you're looking at is like a 10% move. So the majority of our entire sell-off is already done. We shouldn't be looking at anything like panic selling. We shouldn't be worried about the price action. The only thing we should be looking to do is look to buy the market, whether that's Bitcoin, whether that's Ethereum or something else. You guys already know what I'm personally accumulating. I'm not buying Bitcoin. I'm not buying Ethereum. You guys already know which crypto I'm accumulating, and that's Pulse Chain. It's the only one I'm really interested in as we're inside of this bear market. I'm also looking to take prior investments that I've been holding over the course of 3+ years, and I'm actually looking to convert those into Pulse Chain as well. I don't find a better opportunity. And with crypto being in this period where, you know, we're really undecided, we can go lower, we can start the chop and actually make somewhat of an accumulation structure for going up. If we're to go up, if we're to finally make somewhat of an uptrend move, I expect that this entire consolidation would be, you know, something like this, just a long kind of drawn out accumulation as we build somewhat of a base. And that base will build over the rest of this year. Like I've stated, it's 365 days from the cycle high to our projected cycle low, which is going to be the first week of November. So I'm not expecting a whole lot from the price action as we get closer towards the end of the year. Overall, what I'm expecting is just an accumulation or us to build somewhat of a base. And keep in mind, guys, that an accumulation base can look like this. We can hold support and we can build an actual support level here before making new highs. Or we can do something similar to like this COVID bottom where we have this capitulation like this, and then we immediately do something like this. You know, if that was the case, any sell-off that we see in here, I think that should be looked at as nothing more than an opportunity to get back in the markets. I don't find it likely that if we make a lower low in here, that this market stays down here at these levels for long. I find that highly unlikely. I would expect it would be a quick V bottom, and any real sell-off that we get below the support level at 17.5 is most likely going to get bought up pretty quick. I would expect wicks, similar to the move that we saw right over here, summer of 2021, where every sell-off off of this 30K support level basically just created a wick. Even in this level over here, every time we hit it, it still produced a pretty big move to the upside. There was a lot of buy support at this level. Now that we've cleared it, I honestly think that any move below our 17.5 move would be equally as important. We'd see institutions stepping in there to buy and accumulate, and we would see a lot of that same price action as basically the Bitcoins on that open market are getting gobbled up by smart money. Now, on the contrary, we can also look to the Ethereum chart. This was something we talked a little bit about in the last video. And we can see that we are once again hugging that 50-day moving average. We are at an indecisive point in the market. Yes, we are below the 50, so the short-term trend is bearish. But there's so many different things that we can draw a parallel to. And this is kind of why I keep telling you guys to not get so caught up with the short-term price action of what's going on and really don't focus too much on what's going on through the rest of the year because we're at a period of accumulation. Even if we make a lower low, we're still in that accumulation waiting to find our support low before we begin that new cycle. So with that being said, there's so many different variables here. We have to see what the stock market does. What the stock market does is going to dictate what Bitcoin does. What Bitcoin does is going to move Ethereum markets as well. We're right now just hugging this 50-day moving average. We are because we're so close at this level, you know, anything can happen. We can see a move back up. We could see something like this, and we could easily see Ethereum start trending upwards of $2,500 per ETH. If that's the case, then that would mean that the SPX broke out. But this is kind of where we're going to get that decisive point inside of Bitcoin or Ethereum. If you're wondering where the direction of Bitcoin or Ethereum is going to go, look no further than the SPX chart, because this is going to dictate the direction that everything goes as far as the equity markets. Cryptos are a risk-on investment. They're going to follow the equity markets. And as you guys can see, our most recent sell-off actually took us below this 50-day moving average. And now we've had a bounce in the short term, this little green day that we're seeing today. It's all caused because the SPX has bounced, but the SPX is still below our 50-day moving average. It's still below resistance. And so, like I've kind of drawn here, we're bullish above. If we can flip back above this 50-day, in my opinion, then we could start looking at potentially a move into another high. It's not decided yet because we're below resistance, but if this just turns into further resistance like we have so far, then we're going to be expecting a move back down to the range lows. If we get a move back down to the range lows, I'm expecting a move all the way back down to 35 to potentially like 3,200. We could literally see a move all the way back down to pretty much the high before COVID. It would be a really big sell-off. Pretty nasty move. That's where we would see Ethereum and Bitcoin kind of finish out one more final sell-off if that was the case. But at the end of the day, guys, I mean, the vast majority of the sell-off's done. If you're worried about the market, turn your computer screens off, you know, delete your apps and just focus on the next year. If you're somebody that has money to buy, personally what I'm looking to buy is Pulse Chain. I don't really care about anything else. I've got money ready to buy it. I'm actually looking, I got a couple cars that I bought in the last cycle. Really, I bought it throughout this period here. But I have a couple cars that are really just sitting there, and I keep thinking to myself, man, why don't I just sell these and buy some more crypto? I could buy that and put it into Pulse Chain, and I could buy, you know, a Bugatti by the end of the next cycle. That's kind of the thought process that I'm thinking right now. I'm really thinking about how I can downsize, what investments in my portfolio didn't really pan out like I thought they would. What ones can I convert into a new crypto that I think will actually pan out in a big way? To me, Pulse Chain's my big focus. You know, whatever Bitcoin, whatever Ethereum does, it really doesn't matter because Pulse Chain isn't even out yet. And so for me, any money that I have that I'm looking to reinvest, I'm literally sitting on it right now. I'm not looking to even buy anything because Pulse Chain's not out. I already sacrificed some money for the pre-sale. You know, once it actually gets added to the open markets, then I'm going to be looking to do a lot more converting, moving different cryptos, investments that I have in my portfolio, converting those heavily into Pulse Chain. Because for the first time in my life, I genuinely feel a strong conviction with this crypto that I haven't felt with other cryptos before. You know, I've got the conviction with Bitcoin, I had the conviction with Ethereum, but that conviction was literally just because of a proven track record. We saw how good Bitcoin and Ethereum did. So of course I was going to be confident in those when coming into that most recent cycle. Now when it comes to this cycle that we're getting into, after the end of this bear market, what cryptos are we going to be looking at? Well, we have all of the normal cryptos we could buy, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Chainlink, all of that stuff. But for me personally, what I'm looking for this next cycle, I'm looking for that crypto that's starting from the ground floor and it's going straight into price discovery. I want that 100x to 1000x opportunity. I'm not going to get that with Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's just simply put, I'm not going to. I saw 30x with Ethereum in the last cycle. That was a huge gain, and it was smaller than what I was expecting, and I'm not going to mess around with those same cryptos. I still have my investments that I've been holding in those that I haven't sold. That's just going to continue to sit in cold storage and hold like I've always done. But all of this money that's been stagnant in cryptos that didn't do anything, you know, XRP is a prime example. As much as I still believe in the long term of XRP, I'm definitely cutting a lot of my XRP holdings and I'm moving it into a better investment. It's not that I don't believe in XRP in the long term. It's that XRP is sitting at over $10 billion in market cap and Pulse Chain's going to be starting at basically the ground floor. So for me, you know, the odds of 100x by me holding XRP are so astronomically small compared to the odds of me making 100x by holding Pulse Chain, because Pulse Chain's starting from nothing and basically going into something. XRP has already gone through 2 cycles. And in the last cycle, it got sued and it didn't perform worth a crap. So it's not that I don't think it can have a long-term value proposition, because I still firmly believe XRP is a crypto to be here for the future. It's that it's got a lingering lawsuit over its head and it's sitting at over $10 billion in market cap. Those are two things that I really just don't even want to think about in the next cycle, because I know if I invest somewhere else, I mean, realistically, guys, if you would have bought like most any crypto in the last cycle that would have had like semi-good fundamentals, and you would have gotten in at the low point of that cycle and bought, you would have made more than holding XRP the whole cycle. In fact, you could have made more than holding even Ethereum. And so for me, I'm looking at buying those cryptos that haven't had a cycle, because the ones that haven't had a cycle always have the most profitability in their first cycles. That's what I'm looking for. I don't care about Bitcoin. I don't care about Ethereum. I don't care about XRP. I don't care about Solana. I don't care about Chainlink even. I'm holding all of those as of right now. But what I'm really focused on is the new crypto that has the opportunity to actually make me multi-millions of dollars with a fairly small investment. I mean, small investment, I'm going to be throwing like 6 figures at this. I'm going to be throwing a lot of money at it. And so the reason I'm throwing all that money at it is because if this thing does 100x and I have 100 grand in there, I literally will never have to worry about money ever again. Like, I will have to worry about which financial advisor can I hire that can give me a consistent return that I can earn more than a doctor just by earning passively. That's my goals in the future. That's all that I really care about. And my big focus right now isn't the price of Bitcoin, isn't the price of Ethereum, whether it goes for a lower low, whether it breaks out. I truly could care less because I'm holding. If it goes up, great, I'm making money. If it goes down, whatever, Pulse Chain's not released yet, and that's really what my focus is. And so, if anything that you guys listen from these videos, understand, you're going to see a huge pivot from my channel. I truly think that Pulse Chain is going to be one of the best performing cryptos, and it's going to be one of the greatest opportunities that we have going into this next cycle. You're going to see me talk more about that, because what I want is for the guys watching this channel, for the women watching this channel, all 4% of you in my analytics, for you guys that are watching this channel, I want you guys to make the most opportunity for yourselves. That's always been the goal of this channel. And to be 100% just real with you guys, I don't see a better opportunity of doing that than Pulse Chain. I'm not going to show you guys a bunch of million different altcoins like I did in the last cycle. Even though, you know, I was interested in a lot of altcoins, I was buying a lot of those same altcoins, I was losing money on these altcoins. I've just learned a lot from that last cycle. You know, there was a lot of little things that I was able to learn from. And for this cycle, the one thing that I feel like I did in the last cycle that I'm going to focus on doing better this one was the fact I felt like I diversified too much. I felt like I was putting money in too many places and I couldn't keep up with all of it. In this cycle, I'm going to do the opposite approach. I'm going to really fine-tune my portfolio. I'm going to concentrate bets on some specific plays that I think are really going to play out. And if they play out, you know, great. That's awesome. And then I'm probably going to make way more money than I ever thought. If they don't pay out, then, you know, great. I'm going to learn something from that, and then I'm going to be able to go into a new cycle and invest in a different way. I've been at this for like 6 years at this point. I'd have to see the exact math, but I think I'm almost exactly at 6 years I've been in crypto. I've learned a lot from these cycles. I've made good money from these cycles. This next cycle is my third one, and it's really where I want to kind of put everything that I've learned into the most profitability that I can earn for not only myself, but my family, my friends, and then not only that, but you guys that are watching and supporting this channel. I truly believe that Pulse Chain is going to be that thing. So for that, I'm going to be focusing in on that. If you see me upload less talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, talking more about this opportunity, some of the cryptos being launched in that ecosystem, just understand that that's the way that my channel's pivoting. I want you guys to get in on Pulse Chain because I truly do feel like it is that opportunity where we could make that 100 or 1,000x. There was very few cryptos that did it in the last cycle, but had you have got in at the bottom, specifically in the bear market, you would have had that opportunity to do so. Don't squander your opportunity now. We're at that same point in the bear market. Whether we make one more low or not, it doesn't matter. The second Pulse Chain gets released, I think that we should focus in on that. At the very least, throw some money at the wall. Hope it sticks. Just see what happens. Because I'm telling you guys, 6 years in, I've nailed a bunch of really solid investments. I bought Ethereum early on. I bought Solana early on. I bought Terra Luna early on. I bought, you know, there's been a ton of different cryptos that I've bought really early on and made 50, 100x returns off of them. What I'm telling you guys right now is if you listen to one thing from this channel, let it be this. Pulse Chain is going to be huge in this next cycle, and I really think that we should put some focus in on that. Anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. Figured to ramble on enough. Figured I talked about what I need to. If you found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these updates. If you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook. Links are in the description for that. Thank you guys so much. With that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.